Okay, welcome my friends to the show that never ends. And what have we got on here for you today? Well, we've got the Wycombe Lincoln game, or the Lincoln Wycombe game. Oh dear, what can we say? Well, at least Sheffield Wednesday got a battering, and Oxford, so that was good. Other things we've got on here, we will bring back Keiran's little quiz time and spend about 2 minutes on that, because he's been missing it, haven't you?
And mate, I've been crying myself to sleep thinking about it. Absolutely.
We've also got on here, we've got look at all the managers that have been sacked and all the managers that have come in. We've got one or two little stories on what's happened at certain dates. There's some great little stories that you might find funny. And also, I've got written down penalty shootouts and shooters. Now, I know everybody probably gets bored silly with my sort of XT and X this and X that. Yeah, and ex-girlfriend. Actually, you might find that quite interesting. But be careful, Keiran. But
I didn't think you had one.
But my ex-wife, mate, shortly. Penalty shootouts. Yeah, this is more fun than anything else, all right. Not so serious, shall we say. A bit more
Michael's
of a laugh,
being
really
fun this week.
Yeah, a bit more of a laugh, worth a listen to. I'll take my serious hat off, and I think people find it quite funny. So where shall we start, Keiran? Shall we start with the Wycombe Lincoln game? Then everybody can bog off because they won't be interested in the rest. Shall we do that?
Yeah, go on then.
Oh, and last but not least, there will be some music in here at some point, and I'll explain that after the Wycombe game. Otherwise, you would have left already. Yeah, Wycombe versus Lincoln versus Wycombe. Not again. Not a bad score if we weren't up at the top trying to get in that top 6, but not a good score, really. 1-1. We let another goal in the first couple of minutes, and we had a player sent off. And looking at that goal, you can't always. 90% of the time, it is a mistake at the back that causes the goal. Did you see the mistake?
I'm looking it up again because I definitely remember there being a mistake. I kind of think I remember it being the goalkeeper again. Was it? Oh no! So it was
centre half, and I'm thinking,
or lack of.
Yeah, I'm thinking, who's that's supposed to be marking that player that kicks the ball in with a great big space all the way around him? And I was thinking, I don't recognise him. There's a reason I don't recognise him. His surname's Wing.
He's not even a centre back.
No, exactly. Number 11. I'm thinking, who's that? I can't work it out, and I had to look up who was number 11. Yeah, I mean, our friend Wing was nowhere. They were two players pointed at who they're supposed to be on, and he ended up with that guy who scored, and then watched him walk away and kick the ball in the net.
Yeah, as we said, the goal itself looks quite nice when you watch it.
Yeah,
but then you look at the movement of our guy Wing, and the lack of movement is disturbing. And also the lack of defenders not putting their body on the line. They don't necessarily have to do that, but the fact that ball was able to dribble into the bottom corner is just like, come on.
There was no need to slow it down, was there?
No,
because I mean, seriously. That was shocking, wasn't it? That was shocking. Why did he just let him walk away?
Yeah. He literally just literally let him walk away. I'm assuming, well, obviously he's not expecting the ball to be played back to the guy he's supposed to be marking, but that's kind of irrelevant.
Was
when you're
he
a
on
professional
that
footballer.
player, or was he in his zone and didn't think that was
No,
his?
he was on.
He was on the player,
outskirts.
wasn't he?
He was on the player. He's even pointing at his player, and then just completely loses him.
And how much space between him and that player was there when the guy kicked in the net?
It's a good 3 meters.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at it now,
He won't catch COVID, will he?
Well, the Lincoln player does block off wing towards the end, but even then, the other guy's gone. So there was definitely a plan there from Lincoln to make sure he doesn't get there, but either way, he wasn't going to.
No.
So it was really poor.
And what did you think to the sending off?
Try and remember that one as well.
It's right at the end of the game.
I saw Ainsworth said that it probably shouldn't have been.
It looked a bit drippy, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, that's sort of like a netball foul, not a football foul, I thought.
But he doesn't. What's he book Scowen for? I'm trying to. Because it wasn't even Scowen who actually brought the guy down, the second one. He just has a go at the ref, I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can't really tell in that circumstance. But I know Ainsworth said that it shouldn't have been.
But the trouble is, without seeing the 90 minutes, you don't know how many times, how much trouble he's been, do you?
Yeah. I mean, Scowen could easily have made about 10 2-footers by then and still be on the pitch. So,
and the problem is you have to say though, the problem is we've I mean, Scowen was booked after 20 minutes and now he's booked in 93 minutes, and that's not very helpful because now we're going to miss him for 3 games.
No, I still think it's only 1 because it's a booking and then a red. But then who does that mean he missed the game against? He will miss the Cheltenham at home, which could be worse.
It could be worse.
But it's still not ideal because I think we've said in the previous few weeks that we've been lacking central midfielders. So it's not good. Our recent form's not good.
It's not. It's not. I mean, what have we picked up 1 point in the last 3 matches?
Something like that, yeah.
Well,
ever since we got slightly a little bit excited about getting promoted, we've just,
well, that serves you right.
Popped it up. Well, I mean, we were top of the league 3 weeks ago, weren't we?
We were, yeah. And now, but that's isn't this what we said last week about none of the teams are actually doing it, other than the top 2, really. I mean, the top 2 are doing everything they can do to stay in there. I mean, they're away. And then the next 7.
Yeah.
Good luck.
It could literally be anyone's, couldn't it? It depends who gets a little run towards
3
the
runs,
season.
3 games on the trot, and you're in.
Yeah.
How many games left? 13. Wycombe.
15.
15. You sure?
Yeah. I don't think you've done your maths quite correctly.
Right. No, it's just because I counted the games on my piece of paper up in the bedroom the other day.
It's 15 now.
And I thought it was 14 before Saturday. I thought I counted. We got 7.
We played 31. Played 31.
Right. So. Well, who knows? Who knows? I'm not going to sort of, cry over it. I'm not going to be Sunderland. Oh, dear. We can't be Sunderland, can we? Is there much more to say about this? I have one little thing. I want to talk managers, because are we near that point of talking about people starting to get a bit bored with Mr. Ainsworth.
Well, I think people have been speaking
I say
about that for
people,
a
that's a
flipping long
bit
time.
unfair. That's sort of, people. I mean, are you people? Am I people? I wouldn't. Are you?
I don't. I think people's expectations of what should happen at lower league clubs is a lot higher than what the realistic expectations are. And I don't think us changing our manager is going to create really that much more benefit for us than what we already have.
We're in the top 6, for goodness sake.
We're in the top 6 in League One. And I think people are forgetting that this is uncharted territory for us still. Because, of course, we got promoted last 2 seasons ago, and of course, we played in the Championship recently. But for Wycombe, we've never done that before. And the fact that we're still top 6 now is still a little bit surreal.
These last 3 years have been Wycombe's best 3 years ever.
Yeah.
So just because we're not winning 5 on the trot and fighting for the top 2 doesn't mean we failed, does it?
No. I think, though, where it will count for Ainsworth is how he rebuilds this team, in terms of we've got an awful lot of players who have been here a long time and are getting older. So the Akinfenwa era, as we could call it, Jacobson was getting on. Stewart's been here an awfully long time. The way that the team is kind of changing, McCleary's getting older, the team's going to have to change, and the team's going to have to be rebuilt. And from initial glance, I think he's done enough to get us to be a stable League One team, but that's about it. I don't see this team being able to push on into the Championship of the new players that he's brought in.
No. And we've got a Division 1 team now.
Yeah, we probably said this last year, but if we finish mid-table this season and we're mid-table for the majority of next, then I think that'll be probably. Is it the right time to change? I don't know. Maybe not the right time, but could be a time to change.
I think what's interesting, we come on to the managers and changes in a sec, because it's perfect timing in that sense on the program, because I don't ever think of this as a program as Match such. Today. It's me and you having a chat, and I looked up how successful Ainsworth has been as a Wycombe Wanderers manager. Okay, and this came as a bit of a surprise to me, because let me just have a look here. Now, obviously, you can't pick managers that have been 100% successful, because they're the ones that only had Wycombe for 1 game. Okay, so let's say 25 matches, 30 matches. Where would you pick where you can actually judge how good they were? You take a pick. Give us a number of games that their manager. 30. So if we have a look at all those that have been manager for 30 since 64, yeah, when I was born in 60. Oh no, we got one at 61. Okay, so just before I was born. Oh, he doesn't count because he never actually. I think he only had 4. Oh, he only had 2 games, so he don't count. In 52, there was a guy with 6 games. So let's have a look. How many managers? There's been a lot that have only had them for 2, 7, 13, etc., etc. Right. Martin O'Neill had hold of Wycombe for 112 matches. His success rate was 46.4%.
Yeah.
Okay. Alan Smith, 30%. John Gregory, 32%. Neil Smiley, 27%. Terry Evans, oh no, you don't count. Laurie Sanchez, 33.9%. Tony Adams, 22.6%. John Gorman, 36.1%. Paul Lambert, 40.7%. Peter Taylor, 34.9%. Gary Waddock, 31.9%. And Gareth Ainsworth comes in at 39.6%. So since the 1950s, okay, so Ainsworth comes in third. Best manager win rate since the 1950s. He comes 39.6 with Paul Lambert mighty close on 40.7.
And you didn't like Paul Lambert, did you?
No, and then Martin O'Neill at 46.4. 46.4. So
I mean, you have to factor.
So he comes in as our third best manager since the 1950s.
Yeah,
on a win rate. And just to finish, he took over when we were dropping out of Division 2. It got a couple of games to save us, which he did. And he took us to the highest we've ever been in the Championship, where he spent a whole season in relegation. And yet he still got the third highest win rate in the Wycombe history since the 1950s.
Yeah.
You've got to say...
I don't think there's been any doubt that
the guy needs a stand, doesn't he? Not just a bus.
Yeah. He's been an unbelievable success at Wycombe. It's just a question of if he can maintain that success. And I think, unfortunately, the only way you're going to find that out is if you keep him. And you could liken it to kind of like an Arsene Wenger situation at Arsenal, where he's done some unbelievable things and has been very beneficiary for this club. You just don't want it to go on too long where people's opinions completely peter out.
I think this summer will be interesting because I think a few decent offers may be in there for him. I think if Reading survive, for instance, in the Championship, if they survive, they might be knocking on his door, I think. And so on. I think he's going to get a few offers. And in all honesty, I hope he gets a really good offer before we ever reach that stage of people getting a bit pissed off with him.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll replace him for a awfully... I mean, I'm lucky. I was around with Martin O'Neill as well. And Paul Lambert. I mean, I've been lucky. Of course, in the 1950s. But some people would have only been watching Wycombe for the last sort of, 5-10 years while he's been there. And I don't think they realise what we've had and what it's like to support a team with bad managers.
Yeah. I think, obviously, it could be a very minute number of people.
Sunderland.
But it is sometimes a bit just unfortunate when you do see people have their really negative opinions of Ainsworth, and seen it multiple times over the past 3 or 4 seasons of Ainsworth out, Ainsworth plays crap football, la-di-da-di-da. And again, I think people's expectations of what football is going to be at this level is very high compared to what it's actually going to be.
I want to be standing in the Ainsworth stand, is the honest truth.
You want to see him get a very, very, very good reception if he ever does go in the near future. Because I
hope it's his choice. That's what I want.
Yeah,
I want it to be his choice. I never want to see that guy sacked.
No, I think it is very similar to Wenger. But the only difference is that the hate on that Wenger hasn't started for Ainsworth. I just hope it doesn't start.
No, I wonder whether
he's earned the right.
Our top, really. I wonder if the Championship really is. I'm not convinced that is us yet.
No, I think the thing that may let him down, particularly recently, is the signings he has made. Because I'm trying to think of ones that have been very successful, and there aren't many. So maybe that's where the owners will have a little think as well, because they'll be like, he's wasting our money kind of thing. I think I sound quite negative about it. You know, I'm flipping not. I'm just saying the reasons why people might get a little bit.
Yeah, I just think that. Yeah, I just think that will be coming in, because I think that us in that top half of Division 1 could be it. In all honesty, I do think that might be it. Playoffs being the highlight, you know. Yeah, and the way teams come up and down, I think Wycombe, we are where we are. Okay, manager. Well, we've had 31 sacked this season so far. A couple of others that went was Lee Johnson from Sunderland, of course, since we last had a little chit chat about it. Lee Johnson went on the 30th of January. We never mentioned him last week, did we?
I don't think so.
His win rate, this is ridiculous, was 51%, and they sacked him. Find another manager outside of Pep Guardiola and Klopp that have got a better record than 51. Well, I say that, then I'll get a list people put down. But
there aren't many, no.
Not many, 51%. I'll have that. And they've sacked him because of embarrassment of a 6-0. Absolutely ridiculous. I have to be honest. If they think they're going to get somebody in better, and who have they taken in? Alex Neil. Now, do you remember who Alex Neil is? He was the manager of Hamilton Academicals. And, of course, his win rate at Hamilton was not bad. And then he went to Norwich. And his win rate at Norwich was 42. Then he went to Preston North End, and they got rid of him on 38. So why they think he's going to be better than Lee Johnson, I do not know. They must be mad, is what I say. Admittedly, I thought the idea of taking on the guy they thought they were all going to get, what's his face?
Oh, what, Keane?
Keane. I mean, really?
Yeah, that was.
But anyway,
worse, wasn't it?
That amazing. And there's been two other guys go. Ismail from West Brom got the kick on 39%. And of course, who's turned up there? Steve Bruce. He's back. He's back. Oh my goodness. So he's been at West Brom, Aston Villa, Newcastle, Sunderland. I mean, he loves that area of England, doesn't he? I mean, he's done a lot up there. I hope he never travels south and comes anywhere near Wycombe. That's all I can say.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm flipping surprised he wants to take a job in football. Not because he's bad, because I don't actually think he's as bad as people make out, but because of just take a break, fella. Like, the amount of stuff he's got from Newcastle, like, it looks pretty stressful for him. I know I wouldn't be able to cope with it, so I'm surprised he's taking a job so early.
He must be mad. Yeah.
Especially a job in which you're probably going to get sacked from, because West Brom just never have managers that long.
Everybody does. Very few retire, do they? Very few retire. No. Yeah, very strange, very strange. And a guy called Matthew Taylor was sacked from Walsall. Win rate 25%, so I'll probably get that. They're not
That's not the Taylor who played for Portsmouth in the Premier League, is it? There's a Matty Taylor who got about. It's probably not him. He was quite young. Don't
know. Yeah, and then of course Frank Lampard did get the job at Everton. We might talk about him later, and of course Eddie and Newcastle might talk about how they're getting on. Sorry, I just choked to death. It's got nothing to do with saying Eddie at Newcastle, I assure you. Right, before we hit the quiz, then, here we go. Billy Dodds. We had a word with him about diving, and since then the lad's come on leaps and bounds. And Steve Coppell. I'm not going to make it a target, but it's something to aim for. And John Scales, that's put a stain on his left knee. Strange.
A stain
anyway,
on his left knee?
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on. Football on this day, on the 15th, that of course is Tuesday, on February 2003. It's rare for a footballing injury to make the front pages, but this one was bound to. After Arsenal had beaten Manchester United 2-0 at Old Trafford in the third round of the FA Cup, United manager Alex Ferguson had kicked a boot in the changing room in frustration. Nothing newsworthy in that. He was well remembered for his moments of anger. But the boot hit golden balls David Beckham in the face, causing a cut over his left eye, which needed stitches. And that did hit the headlines. Now, there's been a number of incidents at the moment with violence at football matches, punch-ups and the like. I've got a couple of stories. I'll probably only read one out, maybe. But there was one in my head, and that was at a game, I think it was a Swansea game recently, where on camera you've got this guy in a yellow jacket trying to sort the crowd out, and the cameras caught this bloke, and the guy in charge of sort of safety didn't recognize him. He didn't work for him, and yet he was in there controlling the crowd. And it turns up this bloke travels with Swansea on the coaches to all their away games, and then he carries his yellow jacket in his bag and sees it his job to make sure they behave themselves.
It does make you wonder, doesn't it?
It does. I think that's brilliant. Now, the first British professional player to be jailed for an incident during a match was Duncan Ferguson. He played for Rangers at the time in a Scottish League match at Ibrox between Rangers and Wraith Rovers on Saturday, the 16th of April, 94. Ferguson head-butted visiting defender Jock McStay. Although not picked up by the match officials, it didn't escape the cameras, and he was charged with assault. He was found guilty, and with 3 similar convictions to his name, he was sentenced to 3 months in prison. He eventually served 44 days in prison, by which time he had become an Everton player.
What? So whilst in prison, he is signed. He
signed for Everton. Yeah. Do you want the next one?
I don't know.
It was in Keane's book. It's quite funny. Okay, I will. When Manchester United face either Manchester City or Leeds United, highly charged matches are always in prospect, perhaps no more so than when Roy Keane of Man United came up against Alf Ing Haaland on Saturday, September the 27th, 97. Leeds beat United 1-0 in a Premier League match at Ellen Road. Late in the match, Roy Keane injured himself when attempting to tackle Haaland. The Norwegian then stood over the injured Keane, criticising him for the tackle and accusing him of feigning injury. The Irishman had in fact suffered a cruciate ligament injury, which ended his playing season and was booked as he was helped off the pitch. The two players were next on opposing sides in 2001 when Haaland had moved to City. This time, Keane was sent off for a savage knee-high tackle on the Norwegian, which was seen as an act of revenge. The FA handed out a 3-match ban and £5,000 fine to Keane. However, matters escalated in 2002 when Keane admitted in his autobiography that the tackle had been a deliberate attempt to injure Haaland following their clash in '97. He later said, "He got his just rewards. My attitude is an eye for an eye." Keane was then charged with bringing the game into disrepute and this time received a 5-match ban and a £150,000 fine.
Bit of a muppet, isn't he? Like,
and the last story that I read the other day, I think it was in his book that it was written that our friend old Rooney, who everybody praises at the moment for being such a wonderful person, actually in one game when he was trying to get people back in a game, he put on studs that were way too big than they should have been. And he knew it because he was trying to get somebody.
maybe, but that's not to suggest that everyone's perfect.
Yeah, but putting on special studs on the bottom of your boots so you can get somebody back. I think that's a little bit over the top, don't you?
Well, that's not the nicest thing in the world to do, no.
It's like carrying a bat out there to hit somebody.
Well, yeah.
I think that's a little bit over the top myself.
What about kicking a cat? Can you do that?
Do you know, I wondered at the time, I thought, well, yeah, okay. I thought, you know, what okay, he shouldn't do that. Until I realised what he had actually done.
Yeah.
And then it changed the whole thing. I mean, I thought what people were talking about was a cat run out and he sort of, you know, stuck his foot out. I didn't realise he drop kicked it.
Yeah. And then posted it on social media by, like, he posted it. Footballers are just weird.
Look at my hair. Sorry. Meanwhile, back to the cat. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I feel like every week we've got a new story to explain about footballers being stupid and going to prison.
I think that's a bit more of an understatement myself.
Right, footballers being insanely diabolical.
They're human. They're human, but seem to be the lowest. That's a bit unfair because they're not all like that.
No.
I was thinking of a funny story then and decided against it. Okay. Meanwhile, Keiran, this music, moving into your quiz time, is by a group who no longer exist. But I thought it was worth playing this. This is a group called Anathema, who had to go bankrupt, or no, not bankrupt. They had to pack it all in because of the lack of money. And certainly with COVID and the like, that really finished them off. Couldn't afford to rent a house, basically. Album. The Optimist was the last studio album they made. I think in 2017. So this is the music that's in the background at the moment. It might play. We'll see whether I get done copyright. If not, well, have a listen anyway. The track that's playing is called Leaving It Behind. I thought that was appropriate. And Keiran's quiz time. let's have Kieran's quiz time. I need to do some. Oh no, I've held up the album, so I'll be able to see it in the film very easily. Now we're coming back to subject of the FA Cup 2001. The last question you had was who did Liverpool beat 2-1 in the semis, and that was Wycombe. Okay, so now we have your next 5 questions. Are you ready? We've got to whip through these. Who did Liverpool beat in the final? Arsenal, Tottenham, or West Ham? Arsenal. You're correct. What was the score? 2-1, 3-2, 4-3?
2-1.
Yeah, you're correct. Who scored the winning goal?
Michael Owen.
That's correct. When was the winning goal scored? 80th, 84th, 88th?
It was late. 88.
You're correct. And who was the captain who lifted the trophy? Trophy?
Sonny Hooper.
You're correct. Trophy. Who lifted the trophy?
You said to do it quickly, so I thought I'd,
Yeah. Now I've got to quickly get to the other bit, which I'm going to be very. Right, here we go then. Which question? Right. Which 2 Premier League clubs did Lukaku play for on loan?
Everton and West Brom.
You're correct. Tevez and Mascherano joined West Ham in the summer of 2006. Can you name the club that sold the 2 players to West Ham? This is really difficult.
Oh, it's going to be Argentinian, isn't it? Corinthians?
That is correct. Oh, aren't we doing well? 7 out of 7.
I'm shocked I got that.
Which World Cup winner joined Birmingham City on loan in 2003? A World Cup winner joined Birmingham in 2003. You ain't getting this one.
No. I got close.
Duggery.
Who?
I knew you were going to say that. Which 2 Premier League teams has Daniel Sturridge played for on loan?
Bolton.
That's one.
And
Come on.
Man City?
No, West Brom.
I was going to say West Brom.
No, you weren't.
I was.
And Robbie Keane was loaned out by Inter Milan to a Premier League club in December 2000. Can you name the Premier League club he joined on loan?
West Ham.
I'm sorry, Leeds. So you got 8, and that wasn't bad, really. I don't think. I think the 2 that you got wrong.
Couple of
fair
loan
enough.
questions
I get
in there.
that. There were a couple of really difficult ones in there. Okay. We've just about done everything until we now get to the penalty shootouts and shoots, and that is because I've really enjoyed the FA Cup. I really enjoyed the AFCON thingy. Well done, Mane. Great. I thought they totally deserved it, as we said last week. A few funny things, of course, was Mane actually lost them the final once, didn't he, in a penalty. Missed a penalty. And
he's missed quite a few.
He's missed quite a few, but his one he's scored that one. Well done. But so who should take the penalties? Who misses? What should you be? How do you win? Etc. Right. This is out of the statistics are taken from 91,000 penalties taken. Okay. So it's accurate. I want to make that clear. They haven't just looked at the last sort of, 15 penalties. They've taken the last 91,000 penalties. Just to say, men are better than women. So,
that's the first thing you want to say is that men are better than women.
Yeah.
Maybe word that one slightly better.
Yeah, okay.
Penalties.
Men score more penalties in their leagues than women do in their leagues.
Right.
I'm sure there's a good reason for that. And it's probably, is it fair to say strength?
Strength. Probably the amount that I assume men receive more training as well, just because of how advanced the men's game is compared to the women's. That probably has an influence. The men's game has more money in it, and therefore they're going to pay people to work out where to put penalties and all that sort of thing. Women's game, a little bit less likely they're going to do that.
The next would be age. How old do you think are the best penalty takers? Well, I knew you'd be asking me that. And the answer is 32 and 33-year-olds tend to be the best penalty takers. And the worst are 18 to 19-year-olds. In other words, as you get older, the more experienced you are, the more probability there is of you scoring a goal. Penalty. Do you think that? I mean, that just makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, take a look at Manchester United's FA Cup, all the way down until you got to a teenager who completely fluffed it. Is that normally do you think that's
England at the Euros, who was it who missed? Rashford, Sancho and Saka, all below the age of 20, 24. The youngsters. Yeah. I think it makes very logical sense.
Yeah. So why do they? Why are they in the 5?
Ask Gareth. Gareth has faith in the youngsters. Well, yeah, you can have faith in the youngsters apart from penalties. Then you just put some 70-year-olds on, sub them on in the 120th minute. They will score. Lots of experience.
Now, the position of the player. That is, where they play in the football team.
Yeah. And
the nearer the player plays to the goal, opposition goal, the more they score. So your forwards, followed by the midfield, followed by the defence, followed by the goalkeeper. And in that order is the percent of who scores the majority. I'm not talking about if you take the 92 and, they score more than they score. I'm talking about if you take forwards and work out the percentage of their penalties they take and the defenders on how many they take and the percentage that's how it works. So it's a fair enough assessment. And it works on the theory that the forwards get it. And the reason that forwards get it on target more as well.
But you'd hope so. But then I thought you were going to come out with something like that fullbacks are the best or something.
No, so because I was thinking that maybe, but no, it is the forwards followed by midfield, followed by defence, followed by goalkeepers.
Fair. Which is interesting because I think if you think of like the best penalty takers, like in the Premier League or in the Premier League over recent years, you're thinking Gerrard's, Lampard's, like Southampton's, Ward-Prowse. Like a lot of midfielders do. Obviously, we've had Jacobson. It's commonly not a striker who takes penalties.
So Jacobson actually is, an odd one.
Yeah.
Here's the next strange one. Left footers score higher percentage than right?
I reckon that's just because there's more right footers.
No. That isn't how it works.
No,
I'm
I'm saying because there are more right footers, the goalkeepers practice against that more.
Come out. Sorry.
If the goalkeepers practice against right footers more.
Right. Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah. What are you doing with your? You definitely look like a girl now.
Well, it's the beard, is it?
Yeah. Blimey.
Sorry.
And then left foot is it? No, don't worry.
Don't mind
left
me.
footers just tend to.
I'm going to play with my hair more than you do yours.
Yeah, there's a bit of a distraction there.
Right, sorry.
Either way, back a left footer.
So, yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that. But there's a guy, if you heard of this guy, Max Cruz?
Yeah, German.
He's a left footer, and he's never missed a penalty. Never, ever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing.
You're supposed to score penalties every time.
He takes them. I'm not saying, he's only ever taken one, and of course he scored it. He is the penalty taker, and he's never missed. I mean, that is pretty a hell of a record, isn't it?
You might as well just have him on your team just for that.
Yeah. Certainly in a penalty shootout, you'd bring him on, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah.
Now, Asians are better than European. European are better than North American. In fact, North Americans are the worst. They miss tons. They're no good at it. I reckon it's because they're more used to playing with a funny shaped ball. I thought I'd say that as it's the Super Bowl today. They're used to kicking funny shaped balls, not round ones.
That's North America, isn't it?
This is North American.
Oh, you said North America, did you? I thought you said South America.
No.
Thanks for that.
So Asians are the best. North Americans are the worst, and the rest are sort of somewhere in there. But so I reckon that's why North Americans are the worst, because kids they were playing with funny shaped balls. They've got funny shaped balls in North America.
Oh, do they? Well, I'll follow that. Well, I mean, they used to take penalties, like they do their little run up beforehand, don't they? And then they get to take the shot. So they don't even know how to take a penalty.
So, and the last bit was Leos are better than Capricorns. Capricorns are the worst, and Leos are the best. I'll stick that one in there. And Lewandowski is a Leo, and he's scored 46 out of 49 of his. How old is he? Any idea?
He's like 33, 34, isn't he?
Yeah, there you go. Is he left-footed?
No.
He's not. So what we're after then is a 30-plus forward attacking left-footer who was born in the summer to take the penalties, and then you've got your perfect penalty taker. That's what we're looking for.
And Asian,
yes.
Yeah. Trying to think of anyone.
Now, wasn't
I can't think of anyone.
Wasn't that a complete waste of time?
Depends who watches this. If Gareth watches this, then maybe he'll go and sign that specific player that you've just described. I don't know.
But if the other Gareth, as in English Gareth, listens to this, he'll realise his total mistakes.
What, of trying to get to penalties?
Of giving it to youngsters.
Yes.
That was his fault.
Yeah. I mean, Saka's left-footed, but the rest were right-footed who took it, so that was a mistake. Should have given it to Luke Shaw.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That'll do on that. Would you like to discuss any of the games that have been going on? There is a game still happening. Or is it over now?
It's finished. It finished West Ham 2, Leicester 2.
Oh, they got one back then since we started. Okay, let's have a look at FOTMob. Yesterday, apart from Wycombe's game, Oxford lost, which was a real bonus. Love to see that. No matter what, MK Dons drew with Ipswich, fine. Sunderland drew with Wimbledon, that's fine. So none of them really sort of. Plymouth did all right. So nothing really sort of upsetting for Wycombe really yesterday. And then we'll move into the Premier League. And did you watch Match of the Day? This is where highlights don't help.
No, I'm sure they don't.
I watched Manchester United Southampton, and I thought actually Manchester United looked pretty good. And I thought Southampton looked pretty good. And I thought a 1-1 was fair enough. And I thought both teams played quite well. And yet they still stuck the boot in to Manchester United. And I thought that was a bit unfair in this case. I mean, I stick the boot into Manchester United with long studs, I might add, Rooney. But Southampton have been playing really well recently, and that was always going to be asking for it. So I think United actually did all right. They look quite exciting.
Maybe, but unfortunately, especially for United, considering the lack of points they get, it is a points business for them.
Yeah.
And they dropped another 2 at home to a bottom 10 Premier League team, which is something they just really can't do.
But they've looked shocking recently, and I thought they didn't look shocking this time. I thought they actually looked quite good.
Yeah. Well, it's difficult to know what to say to that, because at the end of the day, they do just drop points.
Yeah.
And the fans aren't really happy with that, especially at home to Southampton.
And
it's Ronaldo's longest run without a goal since 2009.
Yeah, it's interesting. Who did they get rid of United up front?
What, Martial?
No, the other one, the young lad. He often plays on the right hand side.
Rashford, Greenwood, Cavani.
Can't remember his name. Don't worry about it. See, the trouble is, United they won against Brentford. They beat West Ham, and then Middlesbrough was a draw, and they lost penalties. Burnley was a draw, and Southampton as a draw, and that's been their 3 draws on the trot. I thought Sancho was a bit selfish. Just to say, they could have won that game if he'd bothered passing the ball a bit more. Brentford 0, Crystal Palace 0. That's it. That is that game, isn't it? Brentford, Crystal Palace 0-0.
Riveting stuff.
I think that one wouldn't. A lot of people would have gambled 0-0, wouldn't they?
I assume it was last match of the day.
I was asleep by then.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Everton 3, Leeds 0.
It's probably not a bad game for Lampard to get his teeth into, as it Leeds at home as one of your first Premier League games.
Yeah, as long as you win it.
As long as you win it, yeah. Like, it's a very winnable game, and by a decent number of goals.
And I bet he was happy after 10 minutes when they scored.
Yeah.
You know, that first 10 minutes, that saved all the effort then, didn't it? Oh, what are we going to do with Leeds? I like Leeds. They just got to survive this year, which they will do. And then we can see what Leeds got.
The only problem is that if they do go and change their manager at the end, they won't be as exciting as what they have been this season or last, which might put people off.
Watford 0, Brighton 2. I have to say, Mr. Brighton, what's his name?
Potter.
He's got a smart coat, hasn't he? He's gone out and bought himself a coat with all his money. Yes. I'll just say that because Gerrard doesn't look like he just wears a Mac thing that he's obviously bought from a second-hand shop or from. Is there a shop that sponsors Aston Villa?
Probably
a bad shop that sponsors.
But then he's Steven Gerrard. He can do what he wants.
But I think Potter's trying to move up in the world and got himself a smart next coat or something.
He's trying to look like Guardiola, isn't he?
Watford 0, though. Oh dear. So which man? Remind me, who's the manager now?
Boy.
Right. So when's he leaving?
Probably about 5 games time.
Okay. I mean, they're down, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they're more down than Burnley and Norwich are.
You think?
Norwich? Yeah. They are certainly the worst team.
I mean, well, I don't see how the bottom 3 can get out.
I think Norwich can. They look okay.
Who will they overtake then? Because we've got Burnley played 21 on 14, Watford played 23-15, Norwich played 24-17. Then the 2 teams above them, well, then you've got Newcastle 23, 21 points, Everton 22 points. And then Leeds, Brentford. I mean, which ones of these can they get past Norwich?
I think Leeds and Brentford need to be careful because I think they could both go on a run in which they lose a lot of games in a short space of time, and the Norwich may well catch up.
Not playing Manchester City every week, they won't.
Who, Brentford?
Norwich lost.
Well,
Saturday,
no, of course.
0-4. Yes. Well, that was a waste of time, that game, wasn't it?
Well, of course, it's Man City. I mean, you just got to do it.
Mr. Raheem Sterling got his hat-trick.
He hasn't done anything for a while, so...
Well, apart from missing a penalty as well.
It's a little bit confusing because I'm having a look at the game on the BBC Sport website, and all the fans rank the players throughout the game out of 10. Sterling came 6th, despite scoring a hat trick. I was a little bit confused.
Yeah, but he didn't have to do much to score.
No, but if Salah gets a hat trick, everyone gives him a 10.
So I think it's a little bit today. Harsh. We'll get on to that.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, well, City have won the league, so that doesn't really matter, does it?
Nah, Liverpool's in the race, mate.
It's funny facial expression time.
Yeah.
And then today, of course, we had Leicester 2, West Ham 2. Does it make a blind bit of difference in the league as to who comes 4th?
It'd be entertaining to see who comes 4th. But the most likely team to come 4th at the moment, ironically, is Arsenal.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Even though they're getting a man sent off every single game at the moment, but
well, they'll run out, won't they? Because surely Matey Boy can't keep getting sent off because he won't be playing.
Well, Granite has got sent off enough times, hasn't
he? So West Ham or Arsenal? What about United? They do keep scraping them.
It would be annoying if United got in. It's just a bit boring if United do it. But they probably will. They probably will at the end of the day, United, because if they don't, then there'll be so much uproar.
What about Wolves?
Maybe. if they have a
Wolves,
late surge,
I mean, Wolves are
Spurs are still
4
kind of in the
points
race.
behind fourth place West Ham, 4 points behind, with 2 games in hand over them.
Yeah, and
They can
similarly,
get up there. They can get up. All these games in hand over is a bit annoying, really. We
Well,
need to just stop and let everybody catch up so we can read the tables properly.
yeah.
So can I just tell you, FA, we've had enough of this. We've had enough. It
Well,
confuses things too much.
it was only a couple of weeks ago we were having games postponed for COVID, and now COVID doesn't exist. So,
Well, thank you for that. As a student, it was all a ploy by the government to.
well,
Yeah.
I'm a science student. I may be a sports science student, but I'm a science student.
Yeah.
And by
Right.
science, I mean, or you move your leg up and down to
Yeah, that sort of idea.
weight.
Tottenham 0, Wolves 2.
Did you see the goals?
No,
They're really funny.
they're
Spurs
funny.
can't defend. No. So the highlights just consist of Spurs making error after error after error. Not even just for the 2 goals, for the goals and beyond that. So it is quite funny. Lloris making cock-ups left, right, and centre. So and it's
He
the
doesn't
rival as
usually
well.
make cock-ups. I'm just looking at the first goal. Playing around the box rather a lot.
Look at this little random punch he does.
Oh, my goodness.
Or
Right,
was he
that
just
looks
not-
like a Wycombe goal, the first one.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he actually push it somewhere other than the centre of the box?
Why didn't you just catch it?
I don't know. Don't know. Oh dear. Right. Okay. Got that.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
And the second one's pretty similar in terms of the number of mistakes they made, which is interesting because they haven't really done that under Conte as of yet. And I would have backed them to be the team that makes top 4, but now, after that, I'm not so sure. Everyone's so inconsistent, you can't really tell.
Now, does somebody need to stand on Trippier's leg to stop Newcastle staying up?
It kind of looks like it. Because at the moment, all they're going to do is get him to take free kicks and then...
Yeah. Goodbye, so to
Very
speak.
goodbye.
Goodbye.
I don't know how they got him. Well, money, obviously, but...
Really?
It's to be fair, it's a poor result for Stevie. Stevie won't be happy about losing to Newcastle.
No, he won't. No, he won't. It doesn't really make any difference to him as such, though, does it? Aston Villa sat nicely in the middle. They're not going up, down, doing anything different.
No.
They're just going. Sorry, they're just going to sort of sit there. And whatever happens, happens. Yeah.
Well, his goal obviously is to get top half. I'd imagine anyway.
Oh well, it's a shame, but Newcastle look they might stay up. Yeah. Still, there you go, can't have everything. And Liverpool Burnley, you watched that as I did.
How exciting was that?
Well, we saw why Burnley are going down, didn't we? They had 5 top chances to score goals. What I thought was strange, because all of those chances, you thought, how will they miss? And isn't this where XG comes into play? And you would expect their XG to be whopping high. Do you know what they got? 0.8. Burnley. How is it only 0.8? Shouldn't they have scored 4? Should it have been 4.0?
I mean, I guess that might be because of the number that were offside at the end. But then they should have been on the side, quite frankly, so you could have added extra.
They gave them 2 big chances.
There's like 6.
Yeah. I don't get that. I don't get
What was
that.
Liverpool's XG?
1.6.
Barely.
And big chances 4.
4?
Yeah.
Did they? I missed them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't particularly exciting, was it? It was just a bit of a grind.
Yeah, I mean, you have to say, giving Weghorst and Rodriguez sort of 6 points something out of 10 for their game, they should have been getting 0.4. I mean, they missed. They were horrific. I mean, what's the point of playing as a forward, centre forward, if you can't kick the ball straight? That's what I want to know. But there's no point, is there? They were rubbish.
It's not quite as simple as that, but they were not good. No, you're right.
They were rubbish.
Yeah.
They lost Burnley the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The defence was fine. I mean, the goal was hardly.
The defence only let one Liverpool goal get through.
Yeah.
That ain't bad. The defence was fine. And why the pictures of these Burnley players up front on my phone are smiling, they should wipe that picture off straight away. Lucky to be in a football team in my book. Becker, yeah.
Allison, yeah.
Or Boris at the back there.
Yeah.
He gets star player. And he
he saved all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Why get a good goalkeeper? Well, we saw why. And that is interesting that it's not just the players out on the pitch, but City, Chelsea, and Liverpool have the three best goalkeepers in the Football League. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say De Gea, but then he can be pretty crap sometimes.
Not 100% reliable.
No.
Why was Firmino playing?
Give him a game. I feel sorry for Firmino because it's his second or it's been like overall 2 seasons, kind of like the back end of the season we won the league, in which he hasn't been very good.
He needs to go somewhere else, doesn't he?
I think it's been pretty well documented that I think they've said his time is pretty much up, which is a shame because obviously, like, when he's playing at his peak, like, he's unbelievable, but we haven't seen his peak in a good year, 2 years now. So
they gave
it is.
Fabinho was the second highest rated player. Not sure about that. Good goal.
Goal, fine, but in terms of everything he's supposed to do, in terms of stopping their attacks, he didn't really do that.
No, how you can give it to a defensive midfielder while they were walking through you, I don't know, really. Yeah. Same as all the back lineup, they gave a good rating to. Robertson gets an 8 out of 10. I don't understand.
I think Robertson was fine. I think the others were a bit ropey.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I have to ask this because you couldn't help but think, aren't Liverpool? Isn't there a time when you do not play high up the pitch? That line on the halfway line doesn't always work.
They're always going to stick to it, though, aren't they? It's their style of how they defend.
Who they playing next? City, isn't it?
Is it? Is it? Blah, 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 blah.
Well, no, it's not. No, it's miles away. Yeah. Why did I think it was City? No, they got into Milan
Norwich
on Wednesday, then Norwich, then Leeds, then Chelsea. Oh, but that's
Chelsea's in
the worry about that. And then you got an FA Cup against Norwich.
Yeah.
West Ham. Well, so where's the City? Oh, the City's in the 9th of April. Oh, that's boring. We could do with that a lot earlier, and for Liverpool to win it, just to brighten, just to get going.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it requires an awful lot, but if we win our game in hand, we are 6 points behind City.
Do you know when the last time Liverpool lost? Was in December after Christmas against Leicester. They lost 1-0. That was the last game they lost, you know.
Well, I imagine City haven't lost in a flipping long time either, have they?
I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible how good these teams are.
Mm.
I don't know, actually.
Let me have a look, because the last time City lost. Haven't lost. Oh, they lost to Leipzig on the 7th of December.
Yeah.
But in terms of league games, I'm still going back trying to find one. October the 30th, they lost last
Crystal
league
Palace.
game. The Palace. How are you supposed to compete? Honestly.
I mean, that's it. You've got to beat them. Win your game.
Then win every other game.
And they've got to lose one or two.
Yeah. If you want to be realistic, they've got to lose 2. Because, I mean, we've still got to play Chelsea. I think they've played Chelsea twice already. And I think they played Arsenal twice.
I mean, they've got
difficult to see
Aston Villa, West Ham, Newcastle, Wolves.
I think the most you can hope for against City is draws and hope they just accumulate.
Yeah.
Even that's a bit.
Well, anyway, that's that. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Or
what else has happened in the world of football? Not sure too much.
There's been a thingy with Wycombe, haven't there? Regarding because there's been some complaints and stuff because Middlesbrough are settling their deal with Derby, but they won't talk to Wycombe, I believe. Which is
what, they don't like us?
Well, no, I don't think. I think they're just going to try and get rid of us, pretending nothing happened.
I'm not sure our owners would do that, to be honest with you.
No, nor do I. So, okay, then here's just your top headlines in the football world now, and then we'll finish. And that is, oh no, we're not going for that one. There was a man shot dead outside the stadium after fans rioted following the Club World Cup final.
Right. But that was probably held somewhere silly as well, wasn't
it? Abu Dhabi or whatever it's called. Chelsea's
wow.
Mason Mount to have a scan on right ankle after hurting ligaments during the final. Ragnick on Manchester United draws with Southampton. We lacked composure. That was his reasoning. FA considering Continental Cup yellow card rule change. Any idea what that is? No. Alonso wants to match as Paqueta and stay at Chelsea for a decade. Oh, that's
I don't think he will, mate. Not sure enough people like him particularly for that to happen.
Well, that's about it, really. Not a ton going on.
No.
And Alan Shearer's comments on Manchester United, because we all know what he thinks, how much he likes them. He said Manchester United have become a leaky, noisy, messy club who give their players an excuse to fail. Straight to the point, eh? Okay, with that, we'll say goodbye. The music, again, in the background, if it's allowed, has been Anathema from the album The Optimist. Have a look at that, look that up. Anathema, The Optimist. I've written it down below. If you enjoyed today, please give us a tick. If you want to make any comments, please make your comments. I noticed last week we only had 12 people bother to watch because there was nothing to do with Wycombe. Hopefully they will at least watch the first bit. So, Keiran, say goodbye. And I'll say goodbye. Hopefully see you next week after Wycombe's massive win at home.